Salutations, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and magical girls. Today, we present to you episode 3 of Nakama Club, with this installment center around Puella Magi Madoka Magica. So, if you're new to this, what Nakama Club is a spinoff of the King of Anime podcast, where we have one of us pick an anime, and this time it's my turn, and we watch it and discuss it. The first one was Inuyashiki, and that was on C's channel. Second one was My Romantic Teen Comedy Snafu on EA's channel. And now, Madoka Magica. So, I have my two partners with me, and, let's introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. It is me, Everything Animated. And yeah, just right out the gate, this was my first time watching Madoka Magica. And I'll give my opinions here in a minute.
Uh, Hi, it's the SeaTactics. And this is kind of my first time watching. I have seen it before, but it's been quite a bit. So, very fun to rewatch this show technically, but with completely fresh eyes.
Yeah, we'll get into our first impressions of it, but before that, let's just get a rundown of the series, quick synopsis. So, Madoka Magica is an anime original series, and it's pretty much we follow a middle school girl, Madoka Kaname, who happens to encounter a beady-eyed cat named Kyubey, who offers Madoka a deal. Kyubey grants wishes, and in turn, the girl who grants a wish to, they become a magical girl, and they fight against all types of evil, curses, witches, familiars. But we have a transfer student, Homura Kimi, who says, no, don't trust that cat. It basically tries really hard to stop Madoka from making a wish. And that's pretty much the gist of everything. So, the first thing I want to do is give our initial thoughts on the series. Like, this is me and C's rewatch, but I know C said he didn't remember a lot about it. So, I want to first go to EA and get his initial thoughts, since this is a brand new viewing of it. This is the very first time.
Yeah, it's I've always heard about this show, but I've never personally took the time to watch it. I guess you could say I was a little, I don't know, intimidated by the title. I assumed, just like everyone else, like magical girl. It's a show about magical girls. How good could this show be? But after I've watched every single episode, I think I can officially say, without anything holding me back or whatever, that this is actually a really good show. And I thought I was gonna hate this. It was a little slow at the beginning, because I'm just like, okay, what's gonna make this show different from everything else? Animation's great, but I think the last 3 episodes definitely sealed it for me, as this show is really good, because, well, you see what happens in those last 3, where you're just like, okay, now we know why. Now we know why this person is that way. Now we know why they do what they do. And the ending itself is very solid. I appreciate the fact that they didn't leave it kind of open ended. They said, all right, we're gonna end it. This is how the show is gonna be and whatnot. So I was very impressed. I mistook this for being a very kiddie type show, and at the end, I could admit that I was wrong. And I can't believe this show has been out for almost 10 years, and it took me till now to just watch it.
Yeah, it has been that long, hasn't it? Came out
Yeah,
2011, I believe.
yeah.
It's aged pretty well, though.
It really has. I was very impressed with that. The art style is unique in itself. I mean, other than the traditional anime moments, you had like whenever you go into the witch realm and whatnot. I thought that part was really neat. That's what separated it from the rest.
Yeah. All right. See?
I really loved this show. I remember initially, for some reason, feeling like I didn't enjoy it, and then if anybody's went back to watch my ancient review, which sadly you can't now of it, I said many things about it, probably many of them probably wrong, but it was very cool. because I'm a fan of Gen Urobuchi, and I like his work, and so the way he kind of made this magical girl thing into this kind of dark, twisted uh, story was really cool, really interesting. Especially, I'm I would consider myself a fan of magical girls, which is very weird. It's one of my strongest genres. Um,
Really?
yeah, and I didn't. It's not something I think about, but I've seen quite a bit of magical girl shows. So watching this one, it was just awesome, and it's considered like a modern classic as well. So finally getting around to it and actually actually watching it with the new fresh eyes and stuff was really awesome. I loved all the characters. I thought they were all pretty memorable. And fuck Kyubey. Can I say that?
You can say that. We're going to talk about Kyubey in greater detail because we gotta have this discussion about Kyubey. But I think the first time I watched Madoka Magica was, I want to say it was like 4 years ago, maybe three, and I didn't know what to really expect with it because I wasn't exposed to it, or if I was, I just didn't realize I was. And I remember just after watching everything, I was like, this is one of my favorite shows, and it still remains to be one of my favorite series of all time. And it was like quite the experience. I remember just watching. I think I watched the entire series in one day, just because I was addicted to it. After I got to a certain point, but I'm glad that we're talking about it. But EA said something that I want to touch upon. He talked about the slow start. So if you can expand on why you believe that it's a slow start, EA, and I just want to ask C2, do you believe
Sure.
that it's a slow start? But first, EA.
Well, I mean, after watching the series as a whole, I guess I can kind of understand why it was a slow start, but I can definitely see that if you've never seen the show before, where some people might be turned off. And I feel as if like you're building towards something, and then when episode 3 finally comes around, where mommy dies, it's like, oh, okay, that was something. But I don't know. I just feel as if it's I don't know, like nothing's happening for the first couple of episodes until towards the tail end, if that's fair to say. But
Mhm.
I think if I was to watch it again, knowing what I know now, I think I would understand those little subtle nuances where I'm just like, okay, that's why this is happening there. That's why that's happening there. And I think that would make me appreciate it more, as opposed to just watching it and never seeing it before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
See,
Honestly, it's quite interesting as there's notifications just firing off rapidly in the background. Oops. Uh, I think the first two episodes, when I first started watching them again, definitely they felt a little slow. Um, but I went back and rewatched them again, which we started really doing it for the podcast weekly. And when I saw them again, I kind of changed my tune a little bit. Maybe it's because I knew what to expect or something, but I think yeah, it's definitely kind of what EA said. It's one of those things where I think if you've seen the whole thing, you can kind of appreciate um, what it was going for and how important those early episodes were. So I don't think
hmm.
it necessarily has a slow start if you're into the show from just if you are watching it and you just want to watch it or to just experience Madoka Magica. I think it's fine. Um, but it I think yeah, for sure like after you finish it, you kind of have a little bit more of a respect for those first two episodes and maybe they're not as slow. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I can't changed my perspective on it, on whether I believe, like, if I was experiencing it for the first time, whether I would think the episode, the start of it was slow. But I will say, like, with the rewatch, I didn't feel like the episodes were slow, and I remember thinking that I remember thinking they were slow the first time I watched it, but now going back to it, I think it did a good job of establishing the world and like what a magical girl was, or kind of kind of just giving us a direction of um, what they what we thought a magical girl would be, and then kind of like pulling the rug up under us with episode 3, the whole mommy event. So I believe that the start of it was actually pretty good, but I do think with EA's comment that if you're experiencing it for the first time, it may turn you off. And I guess that's when the whole 3 episode rule thing would apply here, because I definitely think it's worth it. Because even if you think this the start was slow, I don't think it was bad. It's just um, not too much action happening.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really have that much experience. It kind of surprised me that C talked about the magical girl genre being one of his favorites, because I don't really have that much experience with it. Like, I know about Sailor Moon, but I've never watched the entire series for myself. So I guess I'll go to C first with this. What is your experience with this genre, and do you think Madoka Magica is, is one of the best of this genre?
um, the only one that I haven't seen probably is Revolutionary Girl Utena, and of course the film for this series. Um, that's the only kind of like that's the only two in my punch card I really haven't filled out. I've literally watched everything from Card Captor Sakura, even though I haven't watched the newer one. So maybe that's another one. Yet to see how good it is. I've seen Sailor Moon. I've seen Twin Tails. I've seen Symphogear. I've seen quite a bit, and barring Utena, because I've seen 2 episodes of Utena. I think it is the best one. Um, yeah, for me at least, just because it brings something so unique to the genre in the same way that uh, Fate Zero did for the Fate series, or Dragon Ball Z did for Shonen, where it was just, I don't know. There's something so unique about it, and so like undeniably good and great and memorable, that it kind of like, I mean, it ended up inspiring a bunch of the edgy magical girl stuff that we see these days.
A
So
lot of them bad.
a lot of
A
them bad.
lot of them bad.
And
Do not watch my whole shoujo site.
um so yeah, I think for me it's probably my favorite one, just in terms of its quality and stuff. um of course, I'm a massive fan of Cardcaptor Sakura and Symphogear, so in terms of my heart, what my heart says may be different, but Madoka Magica, my brain tells me it's the best one for sure.
All right. What about you, EA? Do you have a vast experience with this genre?
I've only ever known of Sailor Moon, and yeah, I watched Sailor Moon back in the day when it was on Toonami. It used to play in between Dragon Ball, and then Sailor Moon came on, and then I'd usually change the channel, and then Dragon Ball Z would come on, and then that's when I'd come back and watch Dragon Ball Z. And I only ever knew the intro of the "Fighting Nature by the Night, Sailor Moon."
Classic.
Yeah, I knew that, and like I said, I'd watch it every once in a while, but it wasn't my favorite thing. I don't know. I've always felt like the Magical Girl series was just not for me, because I think some other shows kind of ruined it for me and made me think that this is what all Magical Girl shows are. And I'm trying to think of ones in particular right off the top of my head, but I remember, oh God, what was it? I guess this one doesn't count. Is it the one where they turn into ships? That's not really magical girls,
Yeah,
is
that's ship girls.
it?
Yeah, that's actually a genre. That's an entire genre by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something I was like, no, thank you. I don't want any of this. Maybe it was just I don't know. Maybe it was Sailor Moon that kind of turned me off to it. I just thought, oh, they just wear uniforms and fight against evil, whatever, while dressing the way that they do. So I guess my whole feeling of that genre was that I was never into it. So whenever I had to watch this one, I went into it expecting the exact same thing. Oh God, we're gonna see women dressing all provocatively and fighting. Okay, let's see what we're gonna do here. And I was pleasantly surprised with the result.
You know, it's actually kind of interesting. Some of the voice actors in this show, a lot of them voice in other magical girl anime, and Madoka is voiced in Japanese by Aoi Yuki, who's, by the way, I believe working on her own manga, which is pretty cool. She's
Oh
just a
yeah,
pretty cool chick in
that's
general.
crazy.
Um, but she also voices the main character in Symphogear, which is also another, I won't say well known in the States, magical girl anime. But I just thought I think that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
For
Yeah,
sure.
that's my overall opinions about the genre in general. I I just see people at conventions dressed up in those uniforms, and I'm like, it's another one of them shows. And I
Mm.
swear the shows are just there just to have people dress up in those costumes. That's me anyway.
Gotta sell that merch for sure.
Exactly,
You gotta
exactly.
dress up as Usagi, EA, from Sailor
I,
Moon.
oh no, no, thank you.
Gotta show off those legs.
Yeah, yeah, the legs are on point.
I guess when it comes to my experience with Magical Girl anime, I don't really have it too much. Like I already said, I seen the anime like Maho Shoujo site, which I think it tried to follow the mold of like the dark magic girl genre, um, which wasn't successful. But I guess like you can see like elements of the magic girl stuff, like the transformations in other series like Kill la Kill, and I really like that. It's something I'm attracted to. Like I guess the gimmick of the transformations is just something that's cool to me. And if you've only watched the TV series, if you never watched the recap movies, I would suggest checking out the transformations in the movies just because they're a lot more detailed. They just look a lot better. This show it had some cool transformations, but not of course the movie stepped it up a lot. But yeah, that's just something I like from that genre. But again, don't really have too much experience in it, so it is what it is. Um, I guess the next place I want to go is talking about some of the themes in this series that we may have noticed. If you've noticed any themes,
A lot of people breaking their neck tilting it sideways.
that's a shaft thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, but a lot of very dark tones. So everything's like dark and at night, and a lot of gray. Well, not grays, but just like reds and blues. Just it's like when everything is the darkest of darks, there's the brightest of brights to kind of complement that. So it kind of counteracts with one another. And I thought that was an interesting little scheme, especially whenever they go to the witch realm. Everything just gets even more messed up. But at least you know you're in the witch realm once you get there.
Yeah,
You can't mistake that from the real world.
those things are trippy.
Hmm.
I think the idea, this is the most obvious one. I'm just gonna go ahead and mention it, but the whole thing with the wishes and would you would you really want to wish have one wish that could be literally anything you want it to be? Uh and would you live the rest forever just fighting these witches? And possibly come to a horrible demise or become a witch yourself, and would that one wish be worth it in the end? Sayaka in this series, a great example of that. Was her wish worth it? Because in the end, Hitomi kind of steals her man, and there's a great
At least she
scene.
told him. At least she told him.
Yeah,
Right.
right, exactly. And that's kind of on Sayaka for not speaking up in that instance, but as well, like at the end, Sayaka's just like, I'm happy for Hitomi, and I like how at the end she kind of lets it go, which that was a pretty cool scene. But I think that was the most like thought provoking thing about this show, amongst a couple other ones, and it gave the viewer a lot to chew on just from that, and it's just, I don't know, it was something really cool. I can't think of another series to compare it to. Maybe Full Metal Alchemist with the equivalent exchange, but
Yeah.
it was such a great concept. Genrobuchi is amazing. Oh well, I mean we could bring up Fate again, because that's what I love to do on this show.
Yeah, let's bring it up again. Why
don't
This time he actually has a reason why though.
Yeah, it's the same guy. And Genrobuchi came up with Fate, the idea of battling ideals. So Genrobuchi is really good at creating stuff like this, and it really, I think Madoka Magica is better than even his Fate stuff in terms of what he was able to achieve in such a short amount of time. Because Fate Zero was 24 episodes, so is what it is.
Yeah. You talk about the Orobuchi thing. One thing I've noticed in the pattern of a series, because he's done Fate Zero and he's also done Psychopaths, is there's always like this. He always has this. The mode of his main characters. You have one that's idealistic and the other one that's usually stoic and more realistic. And like with Fate Zero, you have Saber and Kiritsugu. In Psychopaths, you have Akane and Kokumi. And here we have Madoka and Homura. So one of the themes that I found interesting, because EA talked about, I guess you could say, like the balance, like there's good and there's the evil, and then C talked about like the equivalent exchange, basically being careful what you wish for. One of the things that I noticed was um doing right for the or doing wrong for the right reasons. And Madoka's mom talked about this. I don't know what episode it was, but I think it was when around the time Sayaka first became a magical girl, and Madoka didn't know how to help her, and she gave her Madoka's mom gave her advice, and you can see that theme playing out with the whole doing wrong for the right reasons with Madoka's wish, because she was wishing for the world to be a better place, basically, but at the cost of Homura's effort, because she went back in time countless of times and just to stop Madoka from being a magical girl. And at the end, Madoka just could not respect her wishes. So it may have been the wrong thing to do in terms of, that's your friend and you kind of are undermining her effort, but it was the right thing to do morally, I guess, for the world. So I found that theme to be interesting.
Yeah, that was really good.
I guess, let's see. The next place I kind of want to go, I guess we could just talk about the characters individually. Um, I don't know which one I want to start. I don't know. I don't think I want to start with the Kyubey. Because actually, you know what? Fuck it. I want to start with Kyubey. I really want to talk about Kyubey. Thoughts on Kyubey?
You want me to start with it?
Yeah,
Because I know C's got a lot to say.
yeah.
I think everything that now it's all said and done. I didn't know what to think of him, and on one hand, I did actually kind of hate him for what he was doing, because in a way, he's given these girls the ability to make wishes to become magical girls, and then they wouldn't have to suffer if he wouldn't have given them the option in the first place. That's what I thought. But then when he kind of explained himself and said, "Oh, we're just doing this for power and some resources. You guys are just, cattle, pretty much." And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so he has a reason behind it. And even though I think you kind of brought it up a lot, Sasuke, where he's an alien and he doesn't kind of understand the whole human mindset, I guess, and the way that they think. He's like, well, I give you an option to choose, but
Yeah.
you still go ahead and you do it. And then Madoka has to come and say, but not really. I mean, yeah, you give him a choice, but ultimately you're saying this, and you kind of trick him into doing it. But at the end, I think Kyubey's not too bad, but at the same time, if it wasn't for him, none of this would happen. So, uh, but he made great advances for the world because of him. So all hail Kyubey.
All hell Kyubey.
Wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I actually really liked Kyubey quite a bit. EA brings up that he gave them the option, and I think just that conversation when with I think it was Madoka and Kyubey, where Kyubey is just like, I mean, I didn't force you to do it. You did it on your own, which I think is kind of like, it's such a great line. It's such a great like thing for the Kyubey character to just say something like that, because this thing doesn't even like have human emotion, doesn't even understand it, and is like, here's this pile of riches, gold, and everything you ever wanted, possibly. All you gotta do is make a wish, Madoka. And then
Do it.
it's basically right after these girls make these wishes, it's like, well, I kind of didn't tell you about the whole body thing, how you really don't have a body anymore, but like, is that so bad? Because like, they just get in the way, silly bodies. I don't need those, and you can like repair it with magic.
This is coming from a cat that eats with his back, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyubey is he's. I like to make fun of it. Like I like to make fun of Kyubey and say like he's like this awful, terrible thing, and just he's evil because he's got this so unsuspecting look to him, or it rather. It's just he looks so cute, and you're like, oh, look at the little cat rabbit thing.
We can sell lots of these.
Which they do. And Kyubey's like a really good character. I really like Kyubey. I like his interactions with Homura, because Homura is like, just like, kill it, get rid of it. If there's more of them, get rid of that one too.
I think for me, when it comes to Kyubey, I find him very interesting because we already talked about it. Like, he just can't fathom human emotion. And one of my favorite scenes in Madoka Magica is his conversation with Madoka, because Madoka is having an emotional outburst. And I think this was after Sayaka's death. I'm not entirely sure, but I
think
believe
it
that's
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that was the timing of it all. So of course Madoka is distraught, and Kyubey is basically just monotone, just very matter of factly talking to her like, this is how things are. I didn't tell you about this X, Y, and Z because it wouldn't have been efficient. And I believe him when he says that, because there was one line where Madoka said basically, you tricked us, and Kyubey said, no, we don't really understand the concept of deception. It's just that for him, the reason why he withholds certain information is because he doesn't find it efficient to tell the magical girls everything. Because being this being that's basically an alien, he's probably done this a lot. So probably through trial and error with him giving the full details of magical girls possibly in the past, not possibly because we do know there were magical girls in the past. He probably saw how that went and it didn't go down well. So he decided to tell them bits and pieces to try to uh, make the situation as ideal as possible. Which it did work because if you look at someone like Kyoko who didn't know about the soul gem and body thing, she was pretty much the good magical girl. She did her own thing and there was really no issues with her. Of course, her wish backfired, but just in terms of her relationship with Kyubey, nothing wrong happened there. But someone like Homura, who knew the truth, of course, had friction with Kyubey, and Kyoko, when she found out, had friction with Kyubey. So I don't think he's necessarily like evil, but I guess you can say he's immoral. But that's how I see Kyubey.
It's like kind of like a weird little gray area kind of thing for his character, which I really enjoy.
I think his character is definitely up to interpretation. I bet if you were to make a vote and say, do you like Cuban or do you hate him? I bet it would be split down the middle. Like people would have their reasons too. That's what makes him so interesting.
He's cute.
He's adorable. He's evil.
Sasi's like, I'd make like 3 wishes. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
My wish is that I could have 3 more wishes.
And that's the thing about the wishes. They aren't really limited. So it's kind of weird with that. I don't think you would be able to do something crazy like that, but
well, if Madoka can become God, then
yeah.
you know, I guess anything's possible.
Yeah.
Now everything makes sense. I've seen those Church of Madokas around me, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Now it makes sense. She's God. After watching this, I get that reference now.
Praise our pink goddess.
all hail Madoka.
I guess we could talk about Madoka next because we didn't really cover her too much. How do you guys feel about her as a main character? Because I'm going to be honest, I don't like her as much as the other characters, but I want to hear you guys' thoughts on her.
I think she's terrible. I mean, she does redeem herself at the end. I'm not gonna lie, but every other thing out of her mouth is, "Oh God, no! Please stop! Why are you doing this?" She's just very helpless, and rightfully so, I guess, because she's not a magical girl. But I don't know. I'm not saying you can't have a main character that isn't like that. It's just you kind of get bored of it after a while. You know, that's why you have the side characters like Homura and Sayaka that I think are much better, in my opinion. But when it comes to Madoka, like I said, she does redeem herself at the end, so I guess she had to be that whiny to kind of redeem herself at the end, and that whole character development and how it went. But overall, I can take her or leave her, to be honest.
All right.
Okay, so Madoka is the Shinji Ikari of magical girls. Shinji Ikari has the same thing where a lot of people really hate Madoka because it's like, why didn't you just wish for that in the beginning? Like, what? But in my opinion, I think each character in this anime, much like how all of other Gen Urobuchi's animes, every character is important and serves a role, and Madoka is not this interesting character at all, really. She's just like this. She is, by design, a generic kind of, I don't want to say generic, but the idea behind her is that she is, in any other anime, would be this generic, girl who became a magical girl and everything worked out and it's all happy fun. She's got, look guys, her pink hair. that's Madoka's character. That's what you're supposed to expect from her. And then she's kind of supposed to be this bystander for a lot of it, because by the end it's supposed to be this thing where she's just everyone around her has died, and it's just she's just like, fuck this. You know what? I'm putting an end to literally all of this. So my wish is just no more freaking magical girls, man. No more. And she just becomes God, and it's a really freaking awesome moment. Now, I think it's important the Shinji Ikari comparison is there, because I think both of those characters just, they share a lot of that same sentiment. But I actually think as well, Madoka, I don't think the hate is exactly comparable in some ways, though, because as EA says, Madoka, you see the redemption of Madoka, whereas in Evangelion, no spoilers because EA hasn't seen it, but it's
Go ahead.
It's a little different for Shinji Ikari. You don't see the redemption right in front of your eyes for him. You kind of have to think about it. It's up to interpretation for a lot of it. I think, yeah, she's not the most interesting. She just has one of the coolest moments in the whole show, I think. And I think that's the point of her character. She's just supposed to be this bystander who, she can't do anything. She is not a magical girl for 99% of the show. And
last episode, she becomes it.
Yeah, and I mean, I like Madoka, but she's just not as good of all the others.
I think we're pretty much all in agreement, because I don't think Madoka is great personality wise. Because, like I said, again, when it comes to the other characters, I think pretty much everyone's outshines her except for Hitomi, and damn, maybe I can even say Kyosuke outshines her in some capacity. But what I do like about Madoka is, I guess you could say, her upbringing, because I like what it means for the show. Because Madoka is well off. I don't know if she's like wealthy, but she lives in a big house. It looks like she goes to a good school. She has a loving family. She has friends. And the fact that she was faced with this wish, it made her think about what she really wanted. Because I think it would, if it was a situation where Madoka was living in poverty or something like that, or she just was in a situation where she needed to make a wish, I don't think the show would have worked out, because the whole time she's thinking about what should I wish for, and the times she was going to make a wish was a spur of the moment type of thing. The first time I believe was in Sayaka's fight with Kyoko, and the second time was when she was going to make a wish. I forgot. I forgot exactly what it was, but that was when like Homura shot Kyubey. Um, but yeah, I think it just worked out. Like her upbringing worked out with the show, because again, it gave excuse as to why she would wait so long to make a wish. Because although her friends were like dying around her, because Homura was stopping her, and because she already was in a good situation, she really had to think about what that wish was going to be, and was it worth becoming a magic girl, because she's seeing what is going on with their friends. Next person to cover is Homura, who is like the most favorited character in the series. And Homura is, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I can definitely see why. She's got a very interesting arc. You don't. She comes off, well, when you first see her, she just comes off as very standoffish. She's very direct. She's very blunt. She doesn't care if she hurts her feelings or not. And at first, I'm just like, why is this woman such a mega bitch at like 14? It's like, god damn. But then you see episode 10, and that totally caught me by surprise. And I like how they did that episode, because you see her, and she's very shy, and she's very timid. She has a different hairstyle, and I'm just like, who is this a flashback? What's going on? But then you see the constant, keeps going back in time and whatnot, and then right then and there, it all makes sense. It's like, that's why she's the way that she is. And to me, that just made me like her even, just because she's underneath that tough girl persona or whatever. She is this very, she's just as scared as everyone else. She just keeps doing it because she doesn't want to fail. And I like her for that reason. I don't care about no damn hair flip or any of that stuff. I like her for the character that she is. And yeah, it's all around just a very, very cool character. Very neat.
I'm here to call out EA specifically. The hair flip is amazing.
Yeah, I actually love it.
It's overdone. She does it like how many times in the show? Like 40?
A couple.
She's like, I'm about to fight. There goes the hair.
I love Homura. Everything about her, from her Japanese and English voice actress to her character design to her arc in this anime. Everything about her is just so on point. She is just so fascinating and interesting. She's my favorite character out of everyone in this show. And I mean, how could you not like Homura? She wished so that basically Madoka wouldn't have to go through all of this and Madoka wouldn't become a magical girl, and she's been time looping over and over and over just to make sure that Madoka didn't make a wish. And lo and behold, it turns out Homura doing all of this, it was smart of her, because in a weird way it made Madoka wish for all of this nonsense to not happen, which solved the issue completely. And as well, I don't think Homura intended for that for exactly that to happen, but it definitely worked out for Homura for sure. And it was just really good, Homura's whole arc. And when it was revealed of who she is and why she acts that way, it was awesome. It was like one of those moments that you'll, like, for me at least, never forget in an anime. Like, it was just so cool. It was, I think I got goosebumps. And like I said, I've seen this before, but I remembered about none of it. 99.9% of it, I remembered none of that. And so really I was seeing this part, for the first time, and it was just so awesome. I loved everything about it. Yeah, Homer is my favorite character for sure. I like how go ahead. Sorry. I love it when how we figure out she gets her weapons is she goes into a police station and just starts taking guns.
Yeah, just steals them.
and like explosives. She has like pipe bombs. It's just so awesome.
I've always wondered with the wishes, like, are the powers a part of the wish? Do they just, like, it's kind of weird because they don't really touch upon that. Kyubey said something about, like, Sayaka. He said she has the fast healing because she wished for Kyosuke to be healed, but that doesn't really explain some of the other stuff, like mommy having the ribbon stuff and
guns coming out of her
red string of fate.
Yeah. It's weird. I think for me, Homura is an interesting character just because, like, I think about how crazy she would have to be to go back in time and time again, and I think she actually is insane. Just because she only wants to protect Madoka. I think about all the other times where she has befriended other people like Kyoko, like Mommy, like Sayaka, and she does not care for them at all. She will gladly let them die if it means protecting Madoka. That's kind of crazy to me when I think about it, because you're going back in time
I guess I
multiple
never
times.
thought of it that way, but you're right.
Yeah, she does not. There was an episode she literally said to Sayaka she does not give a damn whether she lives or dies, and it's crazy to me to think that she thinks like that, because with these multiple times she's gone back in time, she's had to have talked to these people, and yet she has no attachment to them whatsoever.
Messed up.
It's because Homura is Yuri for Madoka.
Yeah, Yuri from yeah, that show.
Apparently so. There's a scene at the end where they both get naked in space.
Yeah, that was weird. It just like
What was
I
the
don't even
point of
know.
that scene? I mean,
Some Space Odyssey stuff.
I get it. They were trying to, I don't know, have a sentimental scene. But when I saw that, I'm like, do they have to be naked? Do they have to have no clothes on? Is this like a
Uh,
born again signal? Is it a signal saying that they're born again and that they're off doing their own thing? I don't know.
I think it was just an artistic way to represent what happened to Homura and what she became, and as well, or not Homura, Madoka, sorry, and as well how Homura feels about Madoka, because I mean Satsuki's pretty much right on the button there when he says Homura only ever cares for Madoka. She does not give a damn about anyone else. And I mean, yeah, she probably does have to be insane, because how do you just do all this over and over these countless times and not have something wrong with you after seeing the girl that you've looked up to for so long, and probably at this point maybe does actually love her, because I've seen theories about this. I mean, how could you not break at some point? But yeah, love Homer.
yeah, we talked about those Madoka and Homura. One of my she's not one of my favorite characters, but I think she's one of the best characters in the series, and that's Sayaka, because I believe her arc was one of the best in the show, just because what it did, at least in my eyes, is it kind of just showed us how far you can fall and how bad wishes can get. Because before Sayaka's, I guess, dissension into a witch, we only heard about how Kyoko's wish backfired on her when she told her story. But other than that, we didn't actually see how a wish could go wrong. And through Sayaka and what she went through, we kind of got to see how that happened. So I kind of just want to see how you guys feel about Sayaka.
Uh, she's okay, I guess. She's you know, she's kind of a little better than Madoka, but she can throw a fire extinguisher at a witch. But
Yeah, you did do that.
but other than that, yeah, she just kind of rushed into being a magical girl and didn't even, have the courage to say, "Hey, man, I like you like that." But no, and just goes and says, "Yeah, yeah, you can date him. Go ahead. I don't give a shit." And then that festered in her. And wasn't there a scene whenever two people were like talking about, "So I was fucking this bitch, right?"
Oh
And
God, I
Yo,
want,
man.
I wanted to talk about, like, I don't want to get too off track, but I just want to talk about like the adults in this series. Like, why are the adults in this series just they're so weird? Like, Madoka's mom is weird. The teacher is weird. Those guys on the bus or train, whatever it was, they're just weird.
Imagine like one of the teachers just at the beginning of the class. Oh, this used to be like an abridged thing. Just starts off. Hey, yo, man, I had this like trick, and I was like banging her, and she was the best. And it's just all the children have like this look on their face. But go on.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just weird. But yeah, Psycho. Any thoughts? See.
She's kind of the example, the sacrificial lamb, the the one who said, "Well, if somebody told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it?" She's that kind of for this story. She kind of took center for like the beginning portion of this, and she took up a lot of screen time, and because was a very important integral piece as to this whole thing and how it just all fell apart. She was in many ways the first domino to fall, and
Yeah.
it was magnificent how she just was shot down in flames, and just her epic descent, and eventually what happened to her. I really like Sayaka's character quite a bit. She's one of my favorites as well. Um, I I also like her use of heavy objects as weapons, which is really nice. Um,
Yeah. She brung a bat to her first magical girl, or I guess witch labyrinth.
yeah, she just pulls out like a bat in like the middle of a store, or it was a diner, I think. And
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Sayaka, put that away, man. That
That's how
was
I knew
really
she was
funny.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Sayaka, yeah, I really like Sayaka, but she is definitely was one of those necessary failures, I guess.
I did want to briefly talk about Kyoko just because that's my personal favorite character. I know EA did not like her.
Oh, I
Um,
love Kyoko.
I don't know, man. I guess it's like the I like her. I like how aggressive she is because like everybody else is kind of just they kind of like they're not goal getters like Kyoko, and she just is very realistic. And I think Homura said at one time she is like what a magical girl should be, because as much as we think magical girls are supposed to be these cute girls that are nice and sweet, the whole idea of it is that you're fighting for these grief seeds and you're trying not to turn into a witch. So there's a lot of competition with that. Thus, you have characters like Kyoko who aren't really great personality wise, but again, I just like that about her. She was what the world she was like a I guess you can say a product of her environment, or
Mm.
uh what the magical girl and witch is, birth because of how things are.
Yeah, you want to know my opinion?
I don't know what that means, but okay.
That's the one
All
that
right.
eats a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, red
yeah,
hair.
yeah. That's all. That's all she is to me. Is just someone that eats a lot. But no, no. I guess it's a little unfair because I guess she did kind of show her true colors at the end. She wasn't as mean and as I don't know, quirky with attitude kind of girl as as she made herself out to be. But she definitely didn't make a good first impression to where I wanted to be like, yeah, I want to like her because I didn't.
My God.
I didn't care for her at the beginning, but yeah, she's okay now. She sacrificed herself to save the rest and kill Sayaka.
Sasuke's like, "How dare you talk about my waifu?"
I loved her introduction. Like I think she showed up at the end of episode 7 or 8, and this was, or no, way
I think it
earlier
was
than that.
earlier, like 4 or 5.
Yeah, like 4 or 5, something like that. Because it was pretty much after mommy's death, and the territory that mommy was, I guess, guarding over was free, and like what she says to Kyubey is, they're talking about mommy's death, and then she's like, "Oh, she bit the dust," and then, I think she was talking about Sayaka, and then she was like, "I'm gonna beat her ass, basically, and just take over her territory because I guess this city is good territory. I don't really know what that means, but yeah. I liked their introduction. I just like as soon as I saw her, I knew exactly what I was going to get, and I was excited.
Yeah, no, I Kyoko is definitely one of my favorites. She's the cool Chulane or the Lancer of the series.
Look at my Lancer. I'm so cool. Watch me eat while I fight.
The
And
only
she
thing
never gains
about
weight.
yeah, hey, the magical girls, they got a good they got a workout regimen, so it's
Hey,
fine.
everything's good when you're young. Wait till she gets to be 30 or whatever.
Well, she
I'm gonna
won't
go to her.
make it to that.
That's right,
I
she
was
sadly.
going to
won't.
say.
That's right, because they die young.
Exactly. But well, that is, I guess, the one difference between Lancer and Kyoko is that Kyoko eats literally all the time. But yeah, no, I really love Kyoko. I love her attitude because every reason why I love Lancer and Fate is every reason why I love Kyoko, and I want just a whole anime where Kyoko just does her job correctly and I, like just like a slice of life adventure where Kyoko
Ugh.
goes around fighting witches. That would just be really cool. And seeing her interaction with other people and like how she's just like, I don't care. I'm Lancer.
Yeah, look at me and my sharp fang tooth. Ain't I a stinker?
Exactly.
Yeah, she has the red hair Tsunade thing going on. So, like I said, as
Like
soon as I
your
seen her,
anything.
I knew what I was going to get, and uh, I was very pleased. I don't think we really got to talk about mommy like that because her departure was
Hey now.
swift, to say the least.
Hey now, you're an all-star. You got eaten. Yeah, I'll say a few things. She was a great appetizer for that one
Oh
witch.
God, why?
She was so happy. She's like, "Oh, Madoka, you're gonna join and be a magical girl. It's so much fun and great." And yeah, chomp.
God.
Yeah, it I really don't know what else to say.
Oh man, it was her death, man. It wasn't super tragic since we didn't know her that long. It was just, I guess, the impact came from other people's reaction, like
Yeah, for
Madoka
sure.
and Sayaka.
That was a
Yeah.
brilliant choice by Gen Urobuchi to do that. And the director and producers and stuff. Um, Mommy's I really like Mommy quite a bit because she has the whole red string of fate thing, and that really showed the symbolism around the red string of fate is like really interesting because her death is bound by that red string of fate. No matter what, she can't escape it. She will die. And I love that. I love that how just no matter what, Mommy's gonna die. Because that's her fate. She dies.
Didn't she go crazy in one alternate reality where she just starts shooting everybody?
She once she figured out that magical girls turn into witches, she tried to I forgot who she shot, but she tried to kill everybody because she thought that would solve the issue of the witches, which she
Yeah,
is kind of right if you think about it a little.
uh-huh. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna blast you, mothers." Yeah, that's she went crazy in that reality.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
I like Mommy. She's good enough. Uh, but she's ultimately there for the shock factor and her death.
I can agree with that. It kind of just set the tone for how the series would be. Like you're not getting the cute shit no anymore. Once we seen her head lobbed off. I think just like as a character, she was pretty cool. Like I like the senpai, big sister type of characters like her. So no, she played a role well. But I guess I'm gonna ask you guys like, what's your favorite moments in the series, or episode, if you can think about it.
Um, I do like episode 10 a lot just because it took the show into a completely different direction, like even more so. because you got to see Homura and what she was beforehand. I like the choice of just throwing it in there and just letting you kind of connect the dots to kind of figure out what is this, what's going on, how did she, this isn't even the same person, is this the same person? It just kind of made you think. And I don't know, I guess just everything else after that was awesome, but just that whole episode itself where you just saw all the different times that she tried was really neat to me.
Uh, EA's right on there, but I think episode 11 is my favorite. I mean, really, episodes 8 through 12 are just the best, but episode 11 is when it's revealed that the witches have helped humanity progress, and as well, some of my favorite Madoka lines are she says to her mother that she doesn't tell lies or do bad things. So, I mean, that just saying that gave me goosebumps because I just the dialogue is so good in this anime, and it's so, and especially the I think that's another thing is Madoka has a lot of really memorable lines because when she does speak, it means something, or it's something important that you should remember about her character, or everything she says is usually supposed to leave some kind of impression on you, whether it be that you hate her, or whether it be you like her, or like me, you just love how she's talking to her mom and how she's like dead set on doing this and going through with it. And also, episode 11 has the big fight as well. So, a big fan of episode 11 just for the dialogue, really, and the exchange between Madoka and her mother. As well, I think episode 12 is right behind that with me as well because we're bringing back up the Red String of Fate in episode 12. We're bringing back up so much stuff, and as well, Madoka going full 2001: A Space Odyssey in this bitch. So really enjoy episode 11. 12 is right behind it.
I guess for me, I don't know if it's my definitive favorite episode or moment, but I think I really love the reveal of Homura's powers because they gave us hints and clues as to what it was because Homura knew things that other magical girls didn't know. She knew things that even Kyubey thought she shouldn't know. There was the one scene where she was chasing down Sayaka's soul gem, and then she was kind of like you just see her shifting and just moving without running. So like we got clues to her powers, and then when it was finally revealed, it was like, oh, so that's why you know all this and why you're able to do this and that. And the whole scene with her shooting Kyubey was perfect because Madoko's seconds away from making her wish, and you just see him riddled with bullet holes. So yeah, that was a
And then he
beautiful scene.
himself.
Yeah, good snack. It's like don't mess up my spares. But yeah, I guess that was my favorite moment. Um, we talked about the ending a little bit. I'm actually surprised at how you guys feel about the ending because it was like sweet, and I don't think it's really that well received too much. I don't think people hate the ending, but I think a lot of people are just kind of indifferent on it.
I wonder why.
Um, I think people don't really like that Madoka was able to resolve everything. Like I said, we already talked about it a little, like with the whole you should have done this from the start. Like we didn't have to go through all of this if you could have just made this wish in the first place. Um, and maybe people thought it was kind of like anticlimactic, but I don't know.
Yeah, which is weird because I'm usually one of those where I hate endings that are like that. But to me, I thought the ending made the absolute most sense because Kyubey was talking to Madoka saying, we always, offer magical girls powers so that we can, in turn, use your resources, and we progress the world because of this. So it all made sense because that thought was put into her mind. So why wouldn't she make that wish? That to me made the most sense because, yeah, sure, at the beginning, oh, why couldn't you have made that wish? She wasn't thinking that way at the beginning. Towards the end, she was. And that to me made the most logical sense. So it's like, yeah, of course she would make that wish. Why wouldn't she? But at the same time, the ending itself is kind of bittersweet because at the end of the day, Madoka will never see her family again. She'll never, no one will even know her name except for Homura. And, you know, it's like she's never even existed, never even there. But I thought it was good. It's bittersweet. It kind of leaves you, it's kind of open to where it's like, oh yeah, we're still fighting not witches, but like, what were they? Just like
Curses?
monsters?
Yeah, they were like curses, familiar, something like that.
Yeah, so they're still fighting, which, you know, I guess it wasn't super all wrapped up in a bow, so they're at least still fighting, but, you know, as far as witches go, you know, no more magical girls are going to become witches. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I guess I can understand why some people might hate the ending, but I don't know. I'm just glad there was an ending at all, because there's some animes that don't even have those good endings. You know, let's hold hands and walk through a door. Stupid fucking ending.
Well, you just described what's the manga? Damn it.
Silent
Is it a
voice.
silent voice? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I hate that ending so much.
Uh,
Let's take on the world together. Together, hold hands. Yay! It's like,
Suki?
oh.
Excuse me, what did you
Yeah,
say?
yeah.
What did you say? Suki? What? The moon? The hell? The hell you talking about the moon? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
Nothing bad about that scene. I think it's funny.
I mean, I don't want to get too much off the topic, but basically that whole series itself was good up until the ending, which just kind of made it seem cheap. But anyway, I like this ending best, and I thought it was very nice overall.
I love this ending because, oh my god, it's an ending where all the cute girls don't survive and everything's good. Somebody has the
Exactly.
balls to make a story that has consequences and sees it through. Looking at you, Bunny Girl Senpai.
I knew you were gonna say that.
uh-oh.
I loved everything about the ending. It was awesome. It was everything I wanted. Truthfully, it's just a really really well thought out, poignant, thoughtful ending that wrapped it all up. But as EA says, it's not a perfect neat bow. There's still things like we're not riding off into the sunset. We're just closing this book of Madoka, and I love once again this last episode bringing up the red string of fate, how Madoka gives her ribbon, which is a red string, to Homura, and she wears that now, and how her little brother seems to just know the name Homura, or not Homura, Madoka. Why do I get those two swapped up? Don't know. It was just a really bittersweet ending, and it was a good ending. And I've heard from certain people that they made Genorobuchi make the third movie, which, if that is true, shame. Because you don't need anything after this. It's wrapped up perfect, and it's awesome.
What are you talking about? See, they need to have the beach episode. Then it will be perfect.
No, we can't. Oh god, I can
Spoiler
see.
warning, guys.
What?
I'm not going to say anything.
I can see it right now. I know exactly what they're gonna do if they had a beach episode.
Yamate.
Somebody gonna wish for it?
No. That's
He
not
told
my
me
wish.
wishes for it and becomes the last magical girl. They need a green-haired magical girl.
Hitomi awakens. Hitomi is like, girls, ew, how could that be? It just runs away. And the last episode, she's like, I want to see mommy in a bikini.
That's character development. I respect it.
I don't like this violin playing boy anymore.
Could you imagine the episode? What are all the stereotypical things for a beach episode? They have to smash a watermelon at some point.
Yeah, blindfolded.
Yeah, blindfolded. You have to bury someone in the sand, put lotion on somebody.
That, of course, would be
and,
Kyoko.
Volleyball.
Volleyball, and someone gets chopped up by a rotary blade. Oh wait, no, that's another.
Whoa.
I thought you were going to go with losing the bikini top, but we can go with either.
No, I was thinking of another where a guy swims out into the ocean and gets ran over by a freaking boat, chopped up by the rotary blade.
Hey man, it happens. Sometimes that just shit happens, It's fine.
Yeah, you just
Let
try
the
to
book
escape
say
a
you're
curse, and then
walk it
you
off.
die.
Yeah, should be fine. See said it. It was one of my questions, so I guess I'll ask EA. Do you believe that you need to watch the movie to get the full experience of this series, or did you feel like the ending was complete enough to where you don't need any extra content from Madoka Magica?
See, I remember that we had the conversation in the past saying that they made a movie to give it an official ending. But whenever I saw this ending, I was like, okay, I'm not going to like this ending. But when it actually had a really good ending, I thought to myself, what else could they possibly say or do to make it a better ending?
Bikinis.
Yeah. I mean, is that what's in the movie?
I hope to
I
God
cannot
not.
spoil it. Spoil it.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else they could possibly do to make it a better ending, because I thought that this ending was good. And for people to say that they didn't like it, again, I don't know what else they were expecting. Maybe it is what, SeaTactics says, is that they wanted that perfect, nobody died ending, but it's just like, that's the whole point of the story. Actions come with consequences and people die because of it. But what do I know, right? I'm just someone that watches movies and shit.
You haven't watched 300 anime. You don't have an opinion.
Yeah.
Right. Excuse me.
Exactly.
I mean, I've watched 300, just not 300 anime.
That's what you got to do every time. So yeah, I've seen 300. Yeah, totally. The one by Zack Snyder, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I think overall the ending was great, and I look at it like this: Toy Story 3 was the most perfect ending to the whole trilogy. They added a Toy Story 4. Is it good? Yeah. Is it necessary? No. So maybe it's one of those, if you want to watch this movie to get a different sort of ending, you can, but it's not necessary.
I mean, it's very, I brought up the Shinji Ikari Evangelion comparison earlier. It's very funny how they had kind of similar, going off what Satsuki said about how people didn't like the ending, and I assume they probably were like, maybe there's, part of the reason why this movie exists is because fan outrage or backlash or something like that. The same fucking thing happened in Evangelion, and it was better for Evangelion to have the end of Evangelion, because it was just, one, it's a fucking awesome movie, and two, it just wrapped it up perfectly while still having that, while still not tainting the ending of episode 26 of Evangelion. Whereas For this, I'm like, no, we can't have a movie for this. Like, we can't have anything else happen after this. It's perfect.
Well, having watched the movie, I won't spoil anything that happens in it, but I will say, usually I'm a person that's always against more content after I feel like a series is already completed. Um, Other than like Steins, my initial thoughts with Steins Gate Zero, I won't say now because obviously, if you see my channel, I did not like Steins Gate Zero. But when it first came out, I was excited for it. But um, I usually don't like to see more content when I feel like the ending was already great, because I just feel like you're potentially ruining the series just for financial gain, and I hate that. But I will
Short
say
term
that,
over the long term.
yeah, it's just like, did we need another Code Geass R3 movie? Did we
Oh
really
my
need
god.
that?
We need 69 more, and every single one of them is bikinis.
And beach episodes.
Did Code Geass? Oh no, it didn't have a beach episode, but it did have a lot of fan service.
I just need one more, like, low angle of Colin. One more. That's all I need. It'll be
Yeah,
perfect.
they
10 out of 10.
I mean,
they love doing that.
that pizza eating with the cheese action.
The advertisement,
Product placement.
yeah. But yeah, I will say the movie though is it's a trip. I don't think it's necessary to watch it, but I would recommend someone to watch it if they enjoy Madoka Magica. It's definitely an experience.
Would you say the ending is better?
Hmm. I can't really say it's better, but it you just had to see it to understand what I mean by it's an experience, because I think it's something that will be very polarizing. Either you're gonna really like it or you're gonna really dislike it. But I guess for me, I would say that the movie ending is better just because I like the direction they went in. It was a very interesting direction. But not to knock the TV anime, their ending, but I just like where the movie went. It was something I didn't really expect. That's pretty much all the questions I have. So I guess we can just give our final thoughts on the series and just wrap things up. So, EA?
Yeah, this series has definitely opened up my eyes to maybe checking out more anime and not judging it just because it has the word magical girl in it.
Sympho Gear.
I'm not watching that.
It's so good. Sorry.
Isn't Sinful Girl Gear the one where they're like part female? Well, not part. They're female, but they like have machines in them or something.
No. Sympho Gear is the one with all the lesbians fighting other lesbians.
Sounds
So
good to
anyway,
me.
Madoka Magica is definitely worth it, especially for, it's only 12 episodes and you could just watch that in a weekend if you have time, and you can base it off your opinion. You can base an opinion off of just the weekend alone. Don't expect much at the beginning, but stick with it, and I think you'll really enjoy it. It's definitely something that I'll remember for for the rest of my days, just because it's something that's always been mentioned, something that I've always seen, never had a chance to see it. Now I can officially say, okay, this is why people like this show. So I respect that.
3 anime I would recommend wholeheartedly over Bunny Girl Senpai. Madoka Magica is one of those. Absolutely. Easily. No. Ragging on Bunny Girl Senpai aside, Madoka Magica is like a must watch. It is up there with the DBZs. It is up there with the Full Metal Alchemists, the Planet Tez, the the Fates, the Berserk 1997s, not the 2006. You gotta watch it. It's that good. Do it. Do it. Watch it.
Now, like, yeah. For me, I like the fact that Madoka Magica is inspirational for a lot of anime trying to do the same thing with, again, like the dark magical girl genre thing. Not to say that Madoka Magica is like the creator of this genre.
Yeah.
But I definitely will say it's one of the like pioneers, or it was one of the like one of the more modern uh again inspirations for a lot of anime that spawned after its airing.
Yeah, this and U10.
But
absolutely.
just again, please do not. I don't care if you have a gun to your head. Do not watch Mahou Shoujo Site. Don't do it. It is not a good time. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys, starting with EA, tell us where you can find you.
You can find me at my YouTubes, which is everything animated, and I'm going. Well, I've been trying to post more videos on there recently. I've done some with C. I've done some by myself. In April, I'm going to be going back to doing, well, King of Anime podcast, as everyone already knows. But yeah, that's pretty much it. What I got going on. I'm also on Twitter. I don't really post much on there, but I do interact with peoples. And yeah.
All right. See, where can they find you?
Oh well, you can find me everywhere. Just searching up SeaTactics. I'm on everything these days. I have a main channel called SeaTactics, which I've been uploading for about 10 years now, and coming out with a video tomorrow, me ragging on the Bunny Girl Senpai movie. So if you want to check that out, as well, recently did a Magi record video. So that's the Madoka Magica spinoff. And I have a secondary channel called Bento. Right now, every week, air quotes, we're talking about new Fate Grand Order anime with me and my subscriber Malice in Wonderland. And starting in the spring, we'll be talking about Fruits Basket Season 2. So that's where you can find me.
Yep. And for me, you're already on my channel, so you know where to find me here. Twitter, King Daniels Jr. Twitter. That's where I can be a little more opinionated, I guess. And I also have a Magia first impression video out as well. So if you enjoy Madoka Magica, you can watch that to see if you want to check that show out as well. Because it's a little spinoff, but to be real, I don't think it's necessary. But that's a topic for another day. Guys, that's pretty much it. And with that, that closes episode 3 of Nakama Club. And we are out.
Later.
Am I dying to live or am I living to die? Living a lie with my hands stressed out. See, I'm stressed out.